Welcome to Eagle News Canada. I am Ken Soterio. Here are this week's top stories. Anti-government protesters march towards military barracks facing tear gas and water cannon. Libya's Coast Guard rescue more than 500 migrants. Judge overturns life sentences for DC sniper Lee Boyd Malvo. Bachelet inaugurates construction on world's largest telescope in Chilean desert. Now for the details. Anti-government protests in Venezuela's capital turned violent once again as demonstrators marched towards military barracks, clashing en route with members of the National Guard. The Armed Forces National Guard unit has played a pivotal role in 2 months of unrest rocking Venezuela, often blocking marches and using tear gas and water cannon to fight youths hurling stones and Molotov cocktails. At least 57 people have been killed, including 1 National Guard member and 2 policemen. One protester held a sign saying, "I am military, I have killed. Benavides, head of riot security forces, sent me," whilst another painted over Maduro's face on a billboard. Decried by protesters as murderers defending a dictator, Venezuela's military insisted on Thursday it was not taking sides in the national political turmoil, though it did back Socialist President Nicolas Maduro's controversial plan for a new Congress to sidestep the opposition-led National Assembly. The military defended its record during the protests, in which Maduro's opponents have staged daily demonstrations demanding elections, humanitarian aid to offset a brutal economic crisis, and freedom for jailed activists. The communique was a response to Chief State Prosecutor Luisa Ortega, who on Wednesday accused security forces of excessive force against protesters. She said 1 student was killed by a tear gas canister fired from close range by a National Guard. The Libyan Coast Guard intercepted 562 sub-Saharan African migrants in a wooden boat off the coast of Sabratha to the west of Zawiya. The interception came just 1 day after Coast Guard officials rescued nearly 80 migrants off Libya's coast after they had clung to their sinking boat for 2 days, officials said, though the bodies of 7 people who did not survive were also recovered. Libyan Coast Guard and International Organization for Migration IOM officials said that 77 migrants, including a woman and 1 child, were rescued on Thursday off the coastal city of Zawiya in western Libya. An Italian Coast Guard said some 2,300 migrants were pulled from rubber and wooden boats in international waters between Libya and Italy on Thursday. A federal judge tossed out life prison terms for 1 of 2 men convicted in a deadly Washington, D.C. area shooting spree, saying he must be resentenced in light of a U.S. Supreme Court ruling. Lee Boyd Malvo, 32, was 1 of 2 men found guilty in the series of sniper shootings in the fall of 2002 that killed 10 people, wounded 3 others, and left residents of Washington, D.C. suburbs traumatized. His co-defendant, John Allen Muhammad, was sentenced to death and executed in 2009. Malvo, who was 17 at the time of the shootings, was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. In 2012, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled such sentences unconstitutional for juveniles and later found that the ruling should be applied retroactively. The Post reported U.S. District Judge Raymond Jackson cited that Supreme Court decision in order that Malvo be resentenced. In Chile, construction for the European Extremely Large Telescope recently began. Here's EBC's Ann Solmerano for the report.
Construction began in Chile on the European Extremely Large Telescope, or ELT, which when completed will be the world's largest optical telescope, some 5 times larger than the top observing instruments in use today. Its backers say the size of the ELT has the potential to transform our understanding of the universe, with its main mirror that will measure approximately 39 meters across. The head of the European Southern Observatory, Tim Dezeu, and Chilean President Michelle Bachelet were on hand for the ceremony to inaugurate construction. Located on a 3,000-meter-high mountain in the middle of the Atacama Desert, it is due to begin operating in year 2024. Among other capabilities, it will add to and refine astronomers' burgeoning discoveries of planets orbiting other stars, with the ability to find smaller planets, image larger ones, and possibly characterize their atmospheres, a key step in understanding if life is present. The dry atmosphere of the Atacama provides as near-perfect observing conditions as possible on Earth, with some 70% of the world's astronomical infrastructure slated to be located in the region by the 2020s. The ELT is being funded by the European Southern Observatory, an organization consisting of European and Southern Hemisphere nations. Construction costs were not available, but the ESO has said previously that the ELT would cost around 1 billion euros at 2012 prices. I am Anne Salmerano reporting for Eagle News Canada. I am 1 with 25.
Coming up, Canada's foreign minister expresses condolences for Manchester terror attack. Canada's central bank keeps key lending rate at 0.5%. Trudeau arrives at NATO and says Canada will step up in alliance. Eagle News Canada will return shortly. Welcome back. You are watching Eagle News Canada. Canada's Foreign Minister Chrystia Freeland offered her condolences to the victims of the recent bomb attack in Manchester during Ariana Grande's concert. Lynn Espiritu reports.
Canada's Foreign Minister Chrystia Freeland offered condolences to the victims of Manchester's bomb attack on Tuesday, expressing her outrage at the blast which targeted a concert of mainly young women and girls. At least 22 people, including some children, were killed, and 59 were wounded when a suicide bomber struck as thousands of fans streamed out of a concert by U.S. singer Ariana Grande in the English city of Manchester on Monday. Freeland, speaking in Mexico City, expressed her personal condolences as a mother of three. The UK has raised its terror alert level to critical after the attack, with the imminent fear of another attack. Reporting for Eagle News Canada, I am Lynn Espiritu and I am 1 with 25.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said before meeting leaders on Thursday Canada will continue its commitment to supporting NATO's mission. Like other NATO countries, Canada is under pressure from Washington to increase defense spending and had promised this month's major new investment in the military but stopped short of saying how much. Canada currently devotes just under 1% of GDP on defense, less than it did in 2005. The Trump administration is focusing on NATO member states who have yet to meet a commitment to spend 2% of GDP. Canada's central bank maintained its key lending rate at 0.5%, taking a cautious stance amid uncertainty over trade with the United States. Indicators such as business investment, consumer spending, and jobs figures are improving and becoming more broadly based across regions, but exports continue to lag. Most of Canada's exports go to its southern neighbor, the United States. In 3 months, the two nations, along with Mexico, will start talks to renegotiate the North American Free Trade Agreement, NAFTA. If they fail to come to a new deal, President Donald Trump has vowed to pull the United States out of the Continental Trade Pact. The Canadian Central Bank noted that U.S. growth in the first 3 months of the year was weak due to mostly temporary factors. It said the Canadian economy, meanwhile, has adjusted to lower oil prices. Canada is the world's 6th largest oil producer. Inflation has temporarily fallen lower as food prices continue to decline due to heightened retail competition. According to the bank, Canadian wage growth is also still subdued. CIBC economics analyst Avery Shenfield said the Bank of Canada's decision to stand pat on rates lies less in any real troubles on the ground than in uncertainties that Washington politics represent for trade. He predicted the bank would raise interest rates in early 2018 after getting some clarity on trade policy stateside. Shenfield suggested that in the meantime, the bank is keeping rates at near historic lows in order to keep the Canadian dollar low relative to the U.S. greenback and other currencies. But even at today's exchange rate, the bank of predicting ongoing competitive challenges for exporters. Up next, Kathleen Cruz brings the latest in show business with entertainment this week. INC Canada congregations donate blood via FYM Foundation worldwide effort. Canada celebrates 150th year of Confederation. Eagle News Canada will be right back. Welcome back. You are watching Eagle News Canada. I am Ken Soterio. Bringing us up to date with showbiz, here's Kathleen Cruz for entertainment this week.
Hi, Kathleen Cruz here for entertainment this week. Canadian rapper Drake breaks record at the Billboard Music Awards by winning 13 music awards, beating Adele's previous record of 12 Billboard wins in just one night. The music magazine's televised gala in Las Vegas hands out awards based on the year's chart performances, leaving little suspense about who will end the night well. Unlike the more prestigious Grammys, which are based on voting by music professionals, the Toronto hip-hop star Drake has commanded the charts with a string of catchy hits including One Dance, Hotline Bling, and Fake Love. Edge out of the record of English balladeer Adele, who won 12 awards in 2012 in the wake of her breakthrough song, Someone Like You. Among his wins were Top Billboard 200 Album, Top Male Artist, and the night's biggest honor, Top Artist. With the low drama over who will win prizes, the Billboard Gala instead offers musicians a wide television audience months after the U.S. entertainment industry's award season. Cher, presented with the Icon Award for Lifetime Achievement, took to heart the title of her 1989 hit, If I Could Turn Back Time, singing it in a black fishnet suit and leather jacket as the original video. Cher thanked her late musical and romantic partner Sonny Bono in a speech resisting the opportunity to talk politics, even though she is an outspoken critic of President Donald Trump. Nicki Minaj opened the show with a nearly 10-minute hit medley, while Celine Dion marked the 20th anniversary of the Hollywood blockbuster Titanic by singing its theme, My Heart Will Go On. That is entertainment this week. I am Kathleen Cruz for Eagle News Canada. I am 1 with 25.
Thank you, Kathleen. The Iglesia Ni Cristo congregations across Canada donate blood via a worldwide effort launched by the Felix Y. Manalo Foundation. Monica De Jesus reports.
Give Life. This is a rallying point of Canadian Blood Services in encouraging volunteers to recognize the critical role they play in saving the lives of others through their blood donations. This month of May, members of the Iglesia Ni Cristo in Eastern Canada participate in the nationwide blood drive under the Felix Y. Manalo, or FYM Foundation. This project is sponsored by the 27 local congregations of the Church of Christ across the Ecclesiastical District of Eastern Canada. All across Eastern Canada, volunteers of the Church of Christ registered under the group name Partners for Life FYM Foundation to heed the call of the Church for members to participate in socio-civic activities of the community. In total, 400 members of the Church have donated blood under this initiative.
There are many ways to give back to the community. Donating blood just happens to be the one that is most fulfilling. Here at the Canadian Blood Services, members of the Iglesia Ni Cristo Church of Christ from the local congregations of Mississauga Central, Mississauga West, Brampton, and Central Parkway have gathered to give back to the community by giving blood.
So it's nice to see everyone come out, participate, and taking their time out, especially on a long weekend on a Saturday.
In the province of Quebec, here in Montreal and Beaconsfield, we can see 100 and more who volunteered to donate blood with Emma Quebec.
I'm happy that I was able to help in this blood donation drive by the church administration.
I'm so very happy because I believe that I'm saving lives.
The members gladly prepared for their appointments by filling out the required forms provided to them by the organization. Those who are with the Canadian Blood Services Make sure that the donors are healthy before allowing them to proceed with the donation. During the blood collection, each participant is made comfortable as 1 pint of blood is taken from them. Members of the Iglesia ni Cristo Church of Christ here in Eastern Canada have truly helped carry out the noble purpose of the FYM Foundation in giving generously to those in need through the giving of blood. For Eagle News Service, with reports from Jen Garcia, Ray Mangajas, Roslyn Soriano, and Angela Milano, this is Monica De Jesus, your Canada Bureau. I am 1 with 25.
Thank you, Monica. Rosalie Soriano, taking us to the Tulip Festival in Ottawa in celebration of Canada's 150th year of Confederation. Take a look.
This year, 2017, Canada is celebrating its 150th anniversary of Confederation. On July 1, 1867, the new Dominion of Canada is composed of Ontario, Quebec, Nova Scotia, and New Brunswick. The rest of the provinces and territories were formed over time, Nunavut being the most recent. So Canada, as we know today, is composed of 10 provinces and 3 territories.
Canada's sesquicentennial celebration was planned by the National Network of Groups called 150 Alliance.
The network encouraged organizations and communities to organize their own Canada 150 events. This national event is funded by the Canadian federal government with an estimated $500 million dedicated to various projects launched by the provinces and territories all over Canada.
Here in Ottawa, the annual World Tulip Festival celebrates the return of spring from May 12 to 22, showcasing over 1 million tulips across Canada's capital region.
The festival is the largest of its kind in the world. Hundreds of thousands of visitors from around the globe witness the amazing colorful tulip beds in the parks, neighborhoods, and at many other sites across the city, including in front of the Parliament Hill.
Each year, the Canadian Tulip Festival celebrates the flower as a symbol of international friendship, inspired by the Dutch royal family's historic thank you gift of 100,000 tulips after the Second World War. In the occasion of Canada's 150th anniversary, the National Commission in Ottawa selected the flower's red and white petal. The Netherlands helped engineer the perfect tulip for Canada's 150th birthday. The tulip's special breed resembles the Canadian flag, which also represents gratitude and the long-standing friendship between Canada and the Netherlands. For Eagle News Service, reporting from Ottawa, I am Rosalie Soriano, and I am 1 with 25.
Thank you for watching Eagle News Canada. Visit our website at Eaglenews.PH. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/EagleNewsPH. I am Ken Soterio. I am 1 with 25. See you next week.